Hi, everyone. Danielle and Matt Noyes here. Thanks for making the 1 Degree Outside Weather Network part of your daily routine, storms or sunshine.
If you enjoy these videos, we invite you to become a member at patreon.com/1 Degree Outside. Support our mission of continuing to bring accurate weather forecasts and science insights to one and all. This 1 Degree Outside video is brought to you by CrackX Foundation Crack Repair and Waterproofing. 40 years of prompt and economical service to New England homeowners, builders, general contractors, home inspectors, management companies, architects, and engineers. Be sure to visit crackx.com and mention 1 Degree Outside when you make your appointment for an incredible discount.
And as we dive into the monthly forecast, looking out to the month of March, I got to tell you, this is one of the fun parts about having a business. Danielle and I can make these partnerships that save you money and bring you value. CrackX is doing exactly that for you. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go to our homepage, 1degreeoutside.com. Click on the link. You can save literally hundreds of dollars on your foundation repair this month only, thanks to CrackX and the partnership. So please be sure you check it out. Okay, here's what's going on weather-wise. Last 30 days, we have been drier than normal across the southern and central plains into the southwestern United States. We believe this is the next expanding drought area. Meanwhile, you've got what's been a more active storm pattern in the eastern United States, and we think that continues as well. You'll see that in the precipitation forecast for the month here in a minute. I usually like to start out with the overview on the pattern, and oftentimes I begin with the 500 millibar heights. Sometimes folks will ask, what is that? I do my best to explain it, but I think what I've found is the easiest way to explain it is, look, think of it like average temperature through a huge chunk of the atmosphere, not just at the surface, but through a depth of the atmosphere. So colder colors is going to be where you have colder average temperatures, the warmer colors, warmer average temperatures, right? So we've had one storm that's really been digging in on this first week of March. That's creating blizzard conditions on the northwest side, severe thunderstorms on the south side, and scooping up warmth and moisture and carrying it northward up the eastern seaboard. We don't think this is the last of the storms that will behave this way. And the reason I say that is because you do still have the polar vortex that's going to be kind of milling around through Canada. You've got increasing warmth to the south. Remember, this time of the year, you're rapidly strengthening the sun angle, so you're rapidly warming the atmosphere the closer to the equator that you go. This typically in March sets up a big clash of air between cold and warm, and that gives you your big storms. Well, at first, if you go out, let's say a week into March, or a little bit more than that, we're still under what we call the trough axis, basically the axis of the cold air that's coming down out of Canada. This doesn't put you in a good storm position here in New England. Well, if we play things out a little bit more and I go out toward the middle of the month, you'll notice we get another big disturbance coming in off the Pacific, and it does partner with some of the colder air coming out of Canada. This should make another powerful storm across the eastern United States, but given this pattern, it's likely to do a similar type thing where it scoops up warmth and moisture out of the Gulf, carries it northward, and then most of your snowstorm condition would be on the northwest side of the disturbance, maybe more out toward the Midwest and the Great Lakes. So the only way that I would say, oh, you might get into a blockbuster type storm here in New England on the cold side of things would be if you could get a disturbance to dig farther east and dig a little bit deeper as it comes by. That just becomes increasingly unlikely the later into the month that you go. In fact, I would actually say that as we get to the second, well, let's say the last third of the month, the back of winter is essentially breaking. And the reason I say that is because look out toward the 17th of March. Now, do you have a polar vortex? You do, but it's really becoming fragmented. You're getting these bundles of cold that start to kind of become diffuse across the northern hemisphere. Look, there's plenty of cold air in here, but most of it tends to sag through Siberia into Alaska. And that generally really allows the warmer conditions through the atmosphere to spread through a lot of the continental United States. So this tells me that the lower 48, particularly once we get past the 17th or 18th, becomes increasingly unlikely to find significant winter weather. In fact, warming pattern would be likely during this period. Again, if you can get a disturbance to dig far enough south and to the east, then you still could get something together, but the chances become less and less. I'll say that because you do still have a lot of cold that's hanging around at the North Pole, Alaska, Siberia, that does at least keep some shots of cold in play that could give you kind of an outlier storm even into April, right? But in terms of the temperature pattern, I think we're probably near normal in a lot of the eastern United States for this month overall, with, again, the shots of warm and cold going back and forth in the first two-thirds of the month, and then probably trending more toward warmth in the latter part. In fact, we were very close to trying to trend this a little bit more warmer than normal. It's just the shots of cold that come in the beginning are rather substantial at times. There's your colder than normal air that's across the western United States. And keep in mind that even to be near normal in the Boston area and much of New England, that's a big uptick in temperature that comes in the month of March. Our average high in Boston, 45.5. So over the month, you're generally talking 40 to 50. And when you get these warm shots ahead of the storm, at first it's in the 50s, and later in the month, it may go into the 60s when you're on the front side of these systems. In terms of precipitation, we think it's very similar to what we've seen in the last 30 days, which is that big dry area down to the south and west, above normal precipitation coming into the western United States, and above normal precipitation on the north side of the storm track when you come from the Great Lakes, the Midwest, running into New England. Again, if we're on the warm side of these storms, which it looks like we would be for the most part, I think it's probably pretty hard to get your 9 inches of normal snowfall this month in Boston. I'm not even sure that you could really tip the scale to the wetter than normal side of your average precipitation. Boston gets 4.17. That's a lot. We might be above normal on precipitation in the first half or 2/3 of the month. I'm not sure we could keep that pace up in the last week and a half or so. So that's why I've kind of peeled back on that around Boston and Providence and then kept it above average for a lot of the rest of us. Nonetheless, you'll be able to follow it every step of the way, at least 14 days at a time, with our app. Noyes' 1 degree outside weather, totally free on the App Store and Google Play. That's how things are looking for now. I hope you like these monthly updates. We hear great things from you, so I think you do. I love bringing them to you, and so does Danielle. We'll look forward to seeing you with the updates every single day, though, at onedegreeoutside.com.